Hello there, it's me, Ramesh again, and I'm going to talk a little bit about camera control approaches in the Firestorm viewer. So this clip would be of interest to users who you are familiar with Second Life or Opensim. Okay. So the first thing that I will show is, the camera controls that comes with the viewer, and then I'll show you some issues that I have experienced with mouse look and how I created a custom view for the camera controls that I feel might do a bit better job than mouse look, but that's my personal opinion. So what I'll be doing is this. I'm going to basically show you the different controls in use, and I'll ask you to pick which one you think is the best. All right. So what I'll do is the research question I would say is this: which camera control approach works best? And there'll be two different conditions that we are interested in. And the first condition would be, we'll look at how mouse look works under various conditions. And then we'll look at, the custom view that I created for camera controls. Okay. I'll explain in general how I created this view, but the main aim of this clip is to compare and contrast these two different methods. Okay, so we will actually navigate this environment and use the two different methods in different contexts to see which one works better for these different situations. Okay, so let me first go to a back view like this, so that you can see me walk around. And then what I'll do is I'm going to turn on the mouse look view. So let me just display this label here so that you know that what I'm doing. You can also see in the bottom right corner of the video, you can see what I'm doing with the mouse. Okay, so if you look at the arrow on this icon that represents the mouse, when I'm dragging right and left, you can actually see the arrow move. Okay, and basically that's showing you, how I am using the mouse. Okay, so when you are in mouse look, if you want to look around, you just move your mouse. You're not actually dragging. You just move the mouse left, and if you want to look right, you move the mouse right, and that's fine. And to actually walk forward, you just use whatever key you like to use. I like to use WSD keys, and that seems to work for me because my left hand is pretty much away from the mouse, and I use the keys to move and the mouse to point the camera in a given direction. Okay, so this seems fairly intuitive. The one issue I have when I'm moving the camera left and right to move move my head looking left and right, if I see that the curve that follows, it's like the gesture that I have because I'm pivoting around my, my wrist, the base of my wrist. So it kind of draws an arc. And what happens is when I do this, you can see that, there is a change in the camera angle. So keep this in mind. Now I'm walking inside this building, and let's take a look at these different pictures, okay? So now I'm looking at two posters here, and in order to get a good view, if the camera is like this, it's not nice and it's distorted. So ideally, I want to have my mouse in this position, like I'm looking forward in the straight forward direction, and then I can move a little bit back, maybe to center the picture. Okay, so we are just focusing on cameras today. We are not focusing on the other tools that our RezMela system provides in terms of snap to view and things like that. Okay, we are keeping it, relevant only to the native viewer camera controls. Okay, so it seems okay. So you can walk around, and I think that it is also important to make sure that your posters are at an eye level, so that you don't need to do a lot of work, to get your camera positioned accurately. And well, if you have to, for example, read a label elsewhere, so let me try this. When you are in mouse mode, and I want to maybe read the label at the bottom of this poster, I can't do it. I'm pressing Alt, and you can see that in mouse mode, it turns into a hand, so I can't zoom into a particular part of the picture. Okay, so just keep this in mind. And then, of course, when you walk, you can see that it seems to the camera moves up and down as well, because I guess it detects, the steps of the avatar. Let's see here if it actually goes up. No, it's kind of strange, because normally if you're walking into this space, there's an increase in the camera is supposed to go up because you're walking, the floor level is slightly up. Okay, so this is the mouse look condition, and to summarize, it's a two-handed input system. The left hand deals with the keys. You could use the arrow keys, which I did not use, but I prefer to use WASD keys because, it's easier to have both hands, kind of parallel and far from each other. It's more comfortable. Okay. Now let's see. There's another one. Oh, okay. I pressed the wrong key, but there's another function that I find useful with the mouse look. If I slide the key like this towards the left, you can see a piece of my avatar there. So I apologize, but you can see that you can move the camera laterally. Okay, in this mode too. Okay, so to zoom in, you just walk closer, and to zoom out, you just walk back. All right, so this pretty much describes mouse look. Now let's get out of mouse look, and then let's try the other custom view that I made. I call it FPV, first person view. And before I forget, I have to hide this condition A. And what we are doing now is we are in condition B, where we are using, camera controls. Okay. So we have the camera controls here, and with the custom that you can customize. Okay. So here, what I'm going to do, let me try to see here whether, or let me go outside. I'm not going to use the mouse, so I'm going to leave the mouse. I'm only going to use keys. All right. So I'm just using one hand, my left hand. I am now walking out, and the view is still very smooth, and it evolves very nicely, and you can see the scenery around. Just in passing, whatever you're seeing has been created in a few minutes using the RezMela system, and it's just available for a few dollars on the Kitely marketplace. So if you're interested, you can check it out. And that holds true even for that building, just built very quickly using the RezMela system. Okay, so here you can see under this condition, I'm just using the arrow keys, and I can pretty much do everything I want. And let me just go and walk into this building. Okay. So I'm going to walk into the building, and let me pick like a poster to look at. So let me pick this picture, and you can see, the picture is already centered, just using one hand. Okay, so I'm trying not to influence you. Okay, but you'll have to tell me which one you like best. Okay, which condition. So here as well now the problem is, how do I slide the view? So it's simple. There's just like strafing. You press Shift and left and right key. You can actually move left and right. Okay. So it's something to keep in mind if you are interested, to look at pictures which are displayed, side by side like this. All right. So that would be the other condition. Okay. So in the comments, you can tell me which approach do you prefer. Okay. Do you prefer the mouse look approach or the other approach where it's a one-handed input system? And I forgot to mention something. If you want to look at something in particular in the scene, let us say I want to look at, this this quote here from Arthur C. Clarke, I can still do it, in this mode. I don't need to get out of mouse mode. I'm still in the FPV mode that we created, and I hit escape. I'm back to FPV. And I can just walk. Okay, FPV is the custom view that was made for camera controls, and I'll tell you how to make it in a moment. Okay, so even here, if I let us say I'm going just to keep things consistent, I'm going to look at this big poster here. All right, let me move a little bit back and center, move left. And I want to look at what's written in the bottom right corner. Without changing modes, I can just press Alt and look at this picture here, at the label here. So that's simple. And now I want to go back to the FPV view. I just hit escape, and you can just use the keyboard to look around. So things are not perfect yet in terms of camera control, but I think we should really work towards simplifying and removing as much friction as possible. And I do think it's very possible. Okay. For example, you might actually find there are times where you don't experience these the camera sliding as smoothly as what we are seeing here. And normally what happens is, for some reason, I usually go and check the I usually use photo tools for this, but there are probably many more ways to look at these parameters. But you can try to make sure that you don't have camera smoothing on, or your mouse sensitivity is at default. It has happened to me when it's not at default. The mouse starts jittering, and you get lots of artifacts that you know that doesn't make that makes the experience much worse than it could have been. Okay, so that's just a note there. So how did I actually create the FPV view? It's pretty simple. What I did was I just created a small cube, and I stretched it up so that let's check its height. I think, yeah, just to get a measurement, I made the height 1.75 meters, and then let's say I want to stretch it so that I want to have. So basically, what I have is I have an object here, which is at 1.75 centimeter, slightly above ground. And I assumed that this would be the eye level of the average after, okay? And then what I did was I positioned my camera so that this block is, where I wanted it to be. And then I clicked on position. Okay, let me find out how to create this. We still need these details. So how do you create a new? Normally, okay. So this is the current position, and you click on Save as Preset. And when you do this, you click on Save as New Preset, and then you type in, the name of the first-person view. Okay, and that will actually store the camera position, orientation, and it even stores other things like the elasticity of the camera, and the other behaviors that you can change as well. Okay, so that's in short how you would create your first-person view that you can pick from this camera control here. Okay, if you don't want to do this step and you just want to take the values that I've created, I'm just going to, hopefully it's going to appear here. So let's see. It should appear. Okay, so these are the values that I used for mine. Okay, so you can just copy that, and you'll have your custom first-person view. And you can use the arrow keys to turn left and right, and it's still fairly smooth. If it's not smooth, double check the other parameters for the camera. Try to play with these numbers, because it has to be smooth. Okay, so that concludes the comparison of the two different ways of using the camera, and I hope you found it useful. And and as always, I am going to maybe next time come up with another topic to share. I just want to remind you, if you want to explore user building tools, tools that allows you to build content very rapidly and produce consistently neat results, just check out the RezMela system on the Kitely marketplace currently for OpenSim. Okay, I hope these tips are going to be useful to you, and see you soon. So bye for now. All right, thanks.